Hi, my name's James and welcome to R&R, the show where I react to some of the latest and greatest music videos. Today I'm going to be checking out What Was I Made For by Billie Eilish. This is one which I have a little bit of backstory on. I recently watched the Zane Lowe interview with Billie Eilish, so I've got a little bit of the backstory, a little bit of the reason why it was made, and how it connects not only to the Barbie movie, but also to Billie herself. So I'm interested to actually hear the song and also watch the film clip. So let's get into it.
I used to float, now I just fall down. I used to know, but I'm not sure now what I was made for. What was I made for? Taking a drive.
So far we've got a really melancholy sounding track. I'm really enjoying the tone of that piano. It really works very well with Billie's voice. You know, the piano, it's very dark. It's sort of somewhat brooding, but somewhat delicate as well. And then you get Billie's vocal just sort of really present, really almost ASMR-like, but it's also very smooth at some points, but then there's some points where it sort of feels like it's almost breaking up within that sort of whisper style that she gets to every now and then.
I was an ideal, looked so alive. Turns out I'm not real, just something you paid for. What was I made for? 'Cause I don't know how to feel, but I wanna try. I don't know how to feel, but someday I might. Someday I might.
There's some really nice stuff going on. The relationship between the chords that are being played and the melody line that Billie's singing just works so well. There's those moments of real sort of harmonic clarity, just the notes that they picked for the melody line, for the vocal, but also the notes that have been picked for the chord progression and the sort of little counter melody thing that's also happening very subtly there. It just works so well. And as the song sort of has been slowly building and progressing in dynamics, those little shifts, those little builds and ebbs and flows here and there just really make the song progress in a way where it feels like it's slower, but then it just, it feels like it's almost been 2 to 3 minutes, but then it's really only been a minute and a half or just over. But there's all these little bits and pieces, particularly with the backing vocals that are coming in, and just adding these nice little harmonies and textures. It's so far been quite a beautiful song, very well arranged, very well composed. And then on screen, from what I understand, the little outfits that Billie is going through are sort of some of her iconic or classic outfits that we've seen from her in the past. So it's interesting that it isn't just Barbie style outfits. They are connected directly to Billie, which then also coincides with the lyric as well. What was I made for? But then, so far it's been quite melancholy. What was I made for? But then there's those moments where, well, maybe someday I'll find out. So there's that sort of little glint or glimmer of hope, which was sort of just a nice little change. So it's not all dark. There's that sort of that little light at the end of the tunnel. Very nice. The way that this song just so naturally builds and progresses, the array of sounds that they've gone with are just so in place. They just work so well together. They're introduced so well. There's nothing that sort of comes in and feels like it's intruding, it's stepping on the message or on Billie's vocal. It just all fits so well. The one instrument in particular that was sort of a nice and somewhat unexpected nicety was that synthesizer. It's really right back in the mix. It's sort of following this arpeggiated pattern, but it just adds this little bit of something different. So far, everything we've gotten has been quite natural sounding, even though, quite produced sounds and very specific sounds, but quite natural with the piano, the vocals, and all of the vocal layers. But then when that synthesizer comes in, it just, I don't think a lot of people would have thought to add something so digital in, but the way it comes in and it's introduced, it just works so well and keeps things different and changing and interesting. And then, of course, on screen, we're getting this sort of the calamity of, the storm rolling in. We get the wind, we get the rain. And I guess maybe that might be some sort of like metaphor for life where, you're going to have your ups, your downs, everywhere in between.
Someday think I forgot how to be happy. Something I'm not, but something I can be. Something I wait for. Something I'm made for. Something I'm made for.
the way that big building section resolved, instead of going back to the sort of the lower chord progression that is introduced at the start of the song, it moves up that octave or maybe 2 octaves and kind of adds this, even though they're the same chords, it's the same progression, just adds this little bit extra air to the track. And it's not so high up that it is clashing with Billy's vocal. It's still, I guess, just the overall tone of that piano that's being used just works so well. But then there is that small moment where the track starts to build again and sort of the pieces are coming together, and then it just resolves so well. The resolving chords at the end there just really finish things off very, very well, along with, of course, Billy's vocal and those very strong lyrics. The message in them are very, very poignant and reflect quite well with what's happening on screen. You know, the storm dies down, Billy's packing things up and sort of composing herself before going off screen. But then there's that funny little moment where she runs back on and grabs the garment that was left over, which is nice because, you know, so far throughout, you know, 99% of the song, it's quite bleak, melancholy with that little glimmer of hope. So to see that sort of little moment of playfulness from Billy, which, you know, is very much part of her persona, that was a nice little touch to throw in at the end there, I think. So I really think overall, even without the Barbie movie, this song is a really, really nice song. I think it's one that a lot of people are definitely going to be able to relate to. So just as it standalone song, I think it's going to stick around for quite a while. The video clip was quite interesting and engaging and quite impressive. It did seem like one take, although I'm not quite sure. That moment where the rain shuts off almost looked like maybe that was a moment that was quite expertly edited, but hard to tell. So that's it for me in this one. Be sure to let me know in the comments below if you guys think that I missed anything and your thoughts on What Was I Made For by Billie Eilish. And please, if you guys have any information from Phineas's side of things, the composing, I'd really like to get some more insight into the composing side of this song, just because the way that all the sounds work so well together, the song builds in such a really perfect way. I'd like to get some inside knowledge on how that part of the process came to be. But if you enjoyed the video, be sure to subscribe to the channel, check out some of my other videos, and be sure to use the comments section as a space for community discussion. And you'll see me in the next one.